All right, hello everybody. Let's go ahead and check out our weekly macro views for Bitcoin and see what we can expect moving into the year of 2025 when we have a possible very bullish president who supports crypto and see where this thing could go, right? Everything hinges on Bitcoin. So let's just take a peek here at the macro view and see what we have going on. This all over, everybody kind of believes general consensus is somewhat of a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wave-ish structure we're building to the upside here. Seems like we're lacking that final 5th wave still. Let's go ahead and look at some extensions here. When we measure from 0 to 1 to 2, our minimum wave 3 target most of the time is the 1.618 so that we can get impulsive. And you see we fall just short of that, right? So with that in consideration, I think this is how we go ahead and build kind of an extended 5th wave, right? In the Elliott Wave book, it says that one of the 3 motive waves within this 5-wave structure to the upside will commonly be extended, right? So since wave 1 and wave 3 weren't extended, it leans a lot of probability to the wave 5 being the extended leg, right? So we think we still have some room here. So let's clear this off for now. And when we place these extensions, let's make sure we got them as nice as we can get them. Think of them as like an area of interest, right? Not so much to the penny, but just a nice little area of interest that we could be looking for price to have some sort of reaction in, right? Here in this scenario, it gives us probability that we're currently hovering around the center line here. You can see that the RSI is resetting really well also, both in somewhat of a kind of falling wedge shape here. This is resetting us well for a possible next move up, okay? We may see a little more downside, and we'll cover that when we move into the lower time frames. And even if we do, I think it still somewhat should be considered a bullish opportunity, even if Bitcoin were to come down, wash out some more liquidity, let's say down into, the daily CME gap that we have left behind around 79K. We have confluent reasons to believe Bitcoin could go there per Elliott wave counts, per the fib extensions and retracements. So I think we should consider that. And if that happens, a lot of altcoins may present a bigger opportunity, as we are moving deeper into this cryptocurrency cycle where Bitcoin may have given up some of its shiny days, right? It may have put on the most of its run, okay? So you should be looking at Bitcoin, what its price is doing, what Bitcoin dominance is doing, right? And trying to figure out what that recipe might be for those altcoins, right? And for those altcoins to shine, we want to see Bitcoin's price come up while Bitcoin's dominance is dropping. That will give those opportunities for those altcoins to go ahead and take a run, take a strong move to the upside, right? But let's go ahead and zoom in here on the 3-day for Bitcoin and see what we kind of have going on also. Before we do, I want you to take note that we do have a little bit of a regular bear divergence here coming in on the price action, right? So we have higher closures on price action here. But not on your RSI, right? Your RSI stays down there. So you do start to make some regular bear divergences here, right? So that's something to take note of as we're moving into the 5th wave, which is completely normal here, right? For the RSI to not be making higher oscillations in the 5th, for the volume to kind of start to peter off, right? This may be a high volume here due to it being a wave 3 within the wave 5. Right? This could be your possible wave 4 within your wave 5, and then we build 5 waves within 5 to give the last leg. What we should note here, though, is that when we look, we can see another good thing to pay attention to, right? We have hidden bull divergence here with new lows on the RSI, but not on price action, right? So it reset with all the way down here at a possible wave 2, right? So this is what we typically look for, is a hidden bull divergence between a possible wave 2 and a wave 4 at an area of interest to give us a reason to think we're going to have a reversal, right? And we'll zoom in and we'll talk about why we think that may be coming here also. So let's clear some of this stuff off so we can see better. Let's go ahead into a 3-day chart, or the 3D chart, and just kick around some ideas here really quick, okay? Let's see if these templates are set up really quickly. All right, so when we look at this wave 4 here on the 3-day, I want to be open to the possibility that we saw a WXY, and the Y leg was built in a triangle, right? So an A, B, C, D, E pattern, and we get a 1 and 2 off of that, right? So currently we could be building or have built the possible wave 4 that goes with this wave 2, right? Before we could get a pivot here in a reversal and move up, okay? Some things that we would like to see is we would like to see hidden bowl divergence a lot of times between the 2 and the 4. We hadn't quite made that yet, but we are back testing, you know, the 50 level of the RSI and should start tuning in, right? Things are probably getting near a reversal point. From here, we could see that price action goes ahead and matures. It moves up here in a 3. We have a 4. Nice, decent pullback in the RSI. And now we're starting to move up again, okay? We really need to break past the center line of the channel again and the current resistance box that we have here. And we'll zoom in on the daily and talk about that some more. All right, when we look in here on the daily, if we were to have topped in a wave 3 there, which is very possible, turn this back on for a second. We can see it comes right after Bitcoin had run into some regular bear divergence, right? Higher closures on price action, but not on the RSI. We should be expecting, you know, something to kind of give itself a little bit of a turnaround. Anyhow, if this is to be a W, X, and a Y, the possible W leg was very sharp and steep and possible of the zigzag variety, so it gives probability that the Y could be in a flat or a triangle, right? So if this is to occur, we could be seeing rejection here at the center line, maybe, or it pushes up higher and actually categorizes itself as a flat, but we'll have to see as price action matures. But still, these lower targets down to 79K aren't off the table, right? We just have to be watching for this breakout, right? So you could go into lower time frames and start to figure out what went on here in this wick and see if we can get a reversal out of here. But that is, we'll let a little bit more price action mature before we get there. So I think that Bitcoin's still macro bullish. I think it's still on for those wave 5 targets, right? To that 129, 128K region, maybe more if we're lucky, if FOMO sets in. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and we'll just let this slowly come along as it does. But for now, let's go ahead and look also 1 second at the Bitcoin CME chart so we can see where that possible gap was also, right? You could see where we had that on the futures chart, right? Bitcoin CME futures chart. Had a CME gap. It falls pretty in line here with our extensions as a possibility, right? So it's something we have to be open to. So we'll see as that comes around. Let's also look at XRP really quickly before we take off. This is a beautiful shape you can see XRP's putting on here. We'll go to the 3-day so it's not too zoomed in. And just talk about kind of our target zone up here, okay, and the Y. So if XRP were to have put in its macro 1 and 2, all this would be 2. And then it got going again in a 3, and it finally put in the 4 here in either a triangle or a possible WXY. We can get into those weeds later. We are looking for at least, you know, this next high, right? So we're looking for this to push up here. So let's put some general extensions on here and see, you know, where would that area of interest be? All right, let's remove that second click. I fumbled and put it in the wrong spot. I apologize. Get it all the way up there. And when we look at this is our wave 5 target box, right? So I would say if everything went well, XRP could potentially reach that 668, but we may see, you know, the high come in around the 415, 412 range. Could have some hold up there. If it does, we'll look to see, you know, does XRP give another opportunity after that, right? And that would mainly come because we would be thinking we have some sort of 1-2 stacking in here, making this into a 3 and a 4, and then we get another high in a 3, and then we give another 3-wave pullback in a 4 that tries to hold these prior degree wave 4s before it really moves off again, okay? And at that point, we will reset up our extensions. And in that scenario, you know, you're going to get a much higher XRP, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, right? In that scenario, I think that's how you get near a $10 XRP. But we will talk about that when the time comes, right? We haven't seen a full commitment from the price action of XRP to give us full, you know, confidence in that count, right? So I think overall we're on a bullish path here also. XRP is one of the few altcoins really holding itself up well here on the macro with its structures and supporting that it could potentially continue onward from here and not put in another low like many altcoins, okay? So be paying attention to that. Let's talk about some of the important stuff that we might have coming up here in the near future that could affect us, okay? Let's go back to where we are currently. So this week we had core PPI come in. That's kind of a pre-indicator for what we could see tomorrow for core CPI. All of this is really big Forex news, and it's going to be big economic data that's going to tell, you know, the Fed and everybody, hey, this is what we need to do with rates coming up at the end of the month, right? So even next week, you have, as we already talked about, Donald Trump, a very pro-crypto president coming in for his inauguration. Big things could be on the horizon, and I think we need to stay optimistic and stay focused, even though these wave 4s and these corrections are trying to drag us down. We're not going to let it happen, okay? At the end of that week, we're going to go ahead and move into a little bit more economic data, but I think they're going to already have kind of their mind made up as to what they're going to do here. When we go into the FOMC statements, the federal fund rate, we listen to Jerome Powell yammer on for a bit about good and bad and up and down. So these are going to be very big days. You want to be cautious trading them. You want to watch out, not get too emotional. Don't let it whip you out. And maybe even avoid leverage, right? And then after that, we have some really big economic data here with the advanced GDP quarter over quarter. So let's stay tuned in and let's stay focused on the horizon and stay bullish. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're holding up in this new year. And I look forward to all the charts and chats to come. See you guys later.